So Joshua Smith commented on my data operations tab that he wanted the video I suggested, so I'm going to do it. The video I suggested was how to make a block that you give it two inputs and you give it a minimum range, a maximum range, and a number. And it gives you, if the number is higher than the maximum range, it gives you the maximum range. If it's lower than the minimum range, it gives you the minimum range, and otherwise it gives you the number. So I'm going to be doing some weird stuff with switches. So just try and follow along closely. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make two my blocks. I'm going to make a min my block and a max my block. And these things are going to look very, very similar. In fact, they're going to be so similar that I'm just going to copy them. So I've got a switch, and I do it in tab view. And doing it in tab view this time is important. Most of the time it's not, but because I'm going to be dragging data wires in and out of it, it has to be in tab view, because in flat view you can't drag data wires through it. So then I want logic, and I'm going to use red tab, the compare block. So, the compare block in the data operations tab. So I'm going to say, since right now I'm going to be making the max, so I'm going to say greater than or equal to. So what this is right now is if A is greater than or equal to B, it will run what's in the check, and if it's not, it'll run what's in the X. So I'm going to make this into my block. And I'm going to use the compare symbol. I'm going to call it max. And I'm going to have three parameters. The last one's name, no, I'll start with the first one. The first one's name is going to be A, an input of a number. The second one is going to be B, also an input of a number. And I'm going to change the parameter icon to make it B. And then the last one, since it's the result, I'm going to do the equal sign, and I'm going to call it result. And this is going to be an output of a number. So now that we have that, we can finish and drag A into here and B into here. So pretty simple. If A is greater than or equal to B, it will do what's in this check. Otherwise, it'll do what's in this X. Now, this is when it gets weird. Okay? I'm not going to put any blocks in the switch. All I'm going to do is route data wires differently. So, if A is greater than B, or equal to, then, since I'm doing a max program, I want A. So I'm going to take A like this. Ugh. It's ugly. There we go. And I'm just going to drag it back out the switch. Okay? There we go. And then if it's not, then I want, because that means B is less than A. B is greater than A, sorry. And so I want it to go like that. So all I'm doing in the switch is I'm changing which input is going to the output. There's no blocks in there. I'm not wiring anything. It's slightly weird. There's the true, if A is greater than B, use A. If it's false, use B. Okay, now I'm going to do pretty much exactly the same thing. Like literally almost exactly the same thing. The only difference here... No, why am I making it again? I want to... No, I don't. It's faster to make it again. And the reason why it is actually faster to make it again, even though it is pretty much almost exactly the same, is because whenever you copy a main bit from... Yeah, it's hard to explain here. I'll just show you. So, Apple see that. And when I paste it, well, of course. Select all of it. Is it all selected? And copy it. And then paste it. It gives me these weird black lines. that it won't let me plug anything in those spots anymore. So it's just faster to remake it. And so greater than or equal to, and then tools, my block builder, min, compare, result, b, a, input number, b, input number, result, output number, finish. Oh, I don't want greater than or equal to, I want less than or equal to. Whoops. And then A and B, then A, again, I don't like my data wires to be messy, so you can have them messy, I just don't like them to be. And so I did the same thing here. If A is less than B, use A, because it's the min, and if B is less than A, because this is not true, then use B. So now I have a max, and why did I just delete that? Now I have a max and a min. So what I can do is I'm going to make a new my block, and I'm going to use this symbol because it's going to be range, and I'm going to call it constrain, because that's what we're doing. We're constraining a number. And I think 4 is right. We want parameter A, input of a number, parameter B, input of a number, parameter, yeah, I can. Parameter number, input of a number. No, we want min range, max range. I cannot spell. Max range. And then this one needs to be number to test. And this one should be result. Haha, I made the right number of parameters. So in icons, it's the result, so it's equal. It's a testing variable x. Minimum range. A lot of ones that would be good for minimum range, except there's not an outer range. So, actually, you know what? For this one, I'm going to use. Nah, I like that X better. I guess I'll use the same thing for both of them. That'll work. And this one I actually want to be an output. Okay. So then if I finish, so I take the minimum range, and I say whichever one's bigger, the minimum range or the number to test. So if the minimum range is bigger than the number to test, it'll come out here. And if the number to test is bigger than the minimum range, it'll come out here. So then this goes in here, and we say whichever one's smaller, the thing we did to this or this stuff. And then that equals just goes into this equals. So now we have this lovely constraint block that we could say between 0 and 5. And if we put 2, it should give us 2. If we put 7, it'll give us 5, because that's our maximum range. And if we put -2, it'll give us 0, because that's our minimum range.